thank you so much for inviting us here.
Welcome to Pizza Hut and Sapphire Pizza Hut, Anisha. Lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here. It's been a while that I've been at the Pizza Hut because I usually just order in. So it'll be great to just have a conversation here. Okay, so show me your secret sauce inside.
Come on, let's go in. Take a measuring cup. Let's put in some onions. And much of this is all how you spread it so that you ensure that there is a certain evenness. I put what is called a quality ring which just sits over the pan, and this gives the contours of the sauce. From flour to dough to pizza base to everything here, everything is made at the store every day. We don't operate a commissary at all.
Sanjay, while our pizza gets cooked, let me ask you, everything I see around me, I'm sure is up at least 10 to 20% on a year-on-year basis, right? With the inflation and everything. How are you managing that? Are you looking at shrinkflation? Are you looking at increasing the prices?
So you're right. Inflation that we've seen this year on all commodities has been the highest that perhaps I've seen over 20 years. So typically you've got to cover it through price increases. But what we do is that, can we take a price increase to the extent of 2/3 or perhaps 3/4 of the food inflation? So, prior to this year, we were experiencing food inflation of about, say, 6 to 7%.
Right.
We used to take a price increase about 3 to 4%. So what that does, Anisha, is that over a period of time, actually product gets far more affordable from the wallet point of view.
Right.
So this year also we've had to take some amount of pricing. We've taken about 7-8% on Pizza Hut, whereas our inflation is nearly double digit.
Right.
So we've lost a little bit on gross margins, but we've tried to ensure that transactions remain strong. If transactions remain strong, we are able to derive leverage benefits and therefore ensure that our restaurant margins are still maintained.
So yes, because we have seen that the restaurant margins have seen a massive jump over the last 3 to 4 years, right? There has been an improvement of around 700 basis points is what I hear. With the gross margins being under pressure, do you expect that trajectory of improvement to continue? What's the number that you think could be sustainable?
So in Q2, we delivered a restaurant margin of 15%.
Right.
And I include all lease rentals in this 15%. The journey from 7-8% when we started off many years or even 3 years ago to 15 is a different journey, and I'll talk about that. But today, as we look at 15%, we've got two types of restaurants. So our older restaurants, which are slightly more larger and therefore more inefficient, those deliver, say, double-digit EBITDA, but these new restaurants actually deliver higher than that 15%. So I expect this to perhaps remain slightly increase over a period of time. I think, like I said, while our gross margins have gone down, leverage benefits have enabled us to hold those restaurant margins, and I hope that should continue in the future too.
Okay, in the meantime, our pizza will be ready. Let's carry forward the conversation. Sanjay, it's been quite a transformation for Pizza Hut, right? From where it was 5 years ago as a casual dine-in to the entire journey towards being omni-channel. What's been the strategy around that, and where are we in that journey now?
So when Sapphire came into existence 6 years ago, we were very excited with the Pizza Hut possibility. So it was, like you said, a casual dine-in brand. The incredible part about the brand is when you talk to consumers, share of mind is very high, but share of wallet is very low. And I think we had to fix that. And as a number 2 brand to a very powerful number 1 brand, if you're not differentiated and if you don't offer something that is hatke to the consumer, you won't do well. So we went about identifying where do we win and what do we need to improve. And there were really 5 areas. So we said product and product innovation is where we win. How do we double down on that? When you close your eyes and think of Pizza Hut, is all about the dine-in experience. And therefore, we've got to hold that dine-in experience in a very valuable manner. So what do we need to improve? One is our store economics were not great, and therefore our accessibility was poor. And that's because we had either these very large casual dine-in restaurants or hole-in-the-wall delivery restaurants, and both of them didn't work. And really the answer was an omni-channel restaurant where dine-in, delivery and takeaway, all three were important, and you gotten this dine-in experience. So what you're seeing here, a 1200 square foot restaurant, ideally 45 covers, dine-in does well, delivery also does well. So we sorted the accessibility part. Then we realized that setting up the delivery infrastructure will always be an uphill task. And that's why 5-6 years ago we engaged with Swiggy and Zomato, and they helped us level the playing field in terms of delivery. So delivery as contribution even prior to COVID was about 25-26%. Today it's nearly 50%. So delivery we have seen a big bump up. And the final piece of this puzzle was changing value.
Okay.
So today we think of Pizza Hut as a QSR brand. And as a QSR brand, you have to play with the value codes of QSR, which means that a meal under 200, 250 is what you've got to offer the consumer. And QSR is all about meal bundles.
Right.
So we've changed our pricing strategy over the last 2 or 3 years. And that's the time, if you look and compare our meal bundles with our competitor brand, you'll find that actually from a value perspective, we are outstanding or even better, compared to the number one brand. And then in July, August, we thought that there is a hole in our range, which is a pizza under 100 rupees. And that's when we launched the Flavor Fun Pizza. And quite interestingly, we did it also in a very unique Pizza Hut manner. So anything that you expect from Pizza Hut, it has to taste fantastic. So here is a pizza, 5 different sauces, a minimum of 2 toppings. It's just an outstanding product. And perhaps we've got something here for you. The pizzas that you made downstairs, Anisha.
Well, I don't know about yours, but mine would be, we'll have to see how it really tastes. So, yes,
I think you did whichever is the better one is yours.
But
Can
do you cook a lot? Is that something that is your passion as well?
So, I think if you run a food company, if you don't know food yourself, that's a big disadvantage. And I'm passionate about food. I love food. I love to cook. I think at home, I cook far more often, or my wife just doesn't cook at all. And
she's listening in.
Yeah,
choose your words right.
Yeah. But she'll admit it. So yeah, cooking is a bit of a passion area with me. But let's see how this has gone.
Yes, please, absolutely.
Can I serve you?
Please. But how many times, let's say, in a week do you order in? Honestly, tell me.
So I would eat out a little more than I would order in. So I would eat out perhaps 2-3 times a week and order in perhaps once a week. And here is let's try the other pizza. And I'm going to take a piece myself.
Wow. Looks quite interesting. Yeah, so as you said, the better one would be mine.
The better one is
I'm
yours.
diving right in. I can't wait.
You dive in right in. I'm going to take a piece also and...
That's yummy.
You did a great job, Anisha.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about the expansion plans as well, because you're largely, concentrated in metros and larger cities. Going forward, what's the plan in terms of store addition? Are you also looking at getting deeper into the tier 2, tier 3 cities?
So there are 2 parts to our expansion. One is, I say that we had to have the license to grow, which means that is our new store economic model good enough to get us paybacks of 3 years at a store level? So if I look at 5-6 years ago, a Pizza Hut store would pay back in 7-8 years, which is really no payback. So we worked hard on this model, and as we've cracked the model and today paybacks are in the region of 3 years, we have started to expand significantly faster than we have done in the past. Where are the gaps that we see? So while new towns will certainly be a part of our expansion strategy, really the big joy would come in increasing density in the largest markets. So if you look at Mumbai, the principal competitor would have perhaps 3 or 4 times the number of stores that we have. So in many areas, accessibility of the brand itself is an issue. So while we will do new stores, the larger expansion will come from the bigger towns.
So Sanjay, since we are talking about expansion, is it going to be largely organic, or are you looking at the inorganic route as well?
So when we started off with this aspiration that can we be India's best restaurant operator. And that's the platform that we are trying to create. We are trying to create a full restaurant platform, which means that there should be growth opportunities available beyond KFC and Pizza Hut. We think KFC and Pizza Hut will itself give us multi-decade growth. But everything that we are setting up, especially our back-end, processes, systems, is to be able to perhaps acquire a third brand and bolt it on. So most certainly, we are always looking at brands that we could acquire. I think we've articulated also clearly that what drives success in this restaurant space. And there are 7 mantras that we have, that we want success at scale. So we want a brand that can have the density of a Pizza Hut or a KFC in terms of number of stores.
So is this something that we're likely to hear soon? Anything in the pipeline?
So like I said, we are always looking at brand opportunities, but it's too premature perhaps for me to talk about it today. But will there be a third brand in the medium term future with all these conditions to be fulfilled? I would say yes.